Hi there. Okay, so we're taking a look at your submission to the Chapter 5 My IT Lab system. And I wanted to take a look at this submission because it was an unusual result for you. And I had a little time this week. So let's walk through what you can do to earn some more points back. Because really, you've done a great job constructing this spreadsheet. It's just little things that the system wants done its way. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's start with step 2 here. It deducted a couple of points. It was asking you to create named ranges for the range A13 through R54. So over to your spreadsheet, under the Formulas tab, I'm going to take a look at the names that are existing. And I can see, so here, that you have most of the names, but there's a couple that are missing, and some that are not the names that the system is expecting. So for example, if you see here, you have non-res, but the name that exists in G13 is non-res COA. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You can just close that. I want you to select that entire range, A13, all the way through R54. Go ahead and select or highlight that range first as I go down. There it is, R54. From the Formulas tab, click Create from Selection. So we're telling Excel, create these new names based on the range I have selected. And then we have to say, well, where are the names? The names for us are in the top row. They're in the top row of the range we have selected. So let that check mark stand, but remove this check mark. There are no names in the left column, so don't create names for the left column. There are no names there from what we've selected. Okay, click OK to that. Now all of those names are going to be added. It won't ruin anything for your spreadsheet. It's just adding more information. And in effect, it'll give you all of those points then for step 2 and a couple others, or I think step 11 or something like that. Okay, so now let's move on to step 4. Step 4 says enter the VLOOKUP in E14. Okay, so I'm going to go take a look at your E14, and I can see, well, you have a VLOOKUP. It produces the correct result. What's wrong here? So here's what I want you to do. In My IT Lab, click the down arrow next to the step where it's deducted some points, and it will tell you what it doesn't like about it. So here it says in E14, the formula is not set to VLOOKUP D14 from the category table, column 2, the result has to be true. Okay, so you have the word size, which again is proper. Like, it's fine to use that in the real world, but the system wants you to use D14. So I'm going to highlight size and I'm going to replace it with D14. And the rest is accurate. It's the way the system wants it. And I know this can be frustrating, but really sometimes this happens in real life where we have that kind of boss where we've created a spreadsheet, it works, it functions the way it should, but the boss says, I want it done this way. So it is what it is. All right, so I'm going to change that to D14. I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. I'm getting this extra little error message because when I download the file, it's looking for external references outside of your spreadsheet. I don't think you'll get this. If you do, just hit cancel. It'll make that correction. If I go back up to D14, it took the correction I made. So don't worry if you get that error message. I just don't think you will because you're the original author of the file. All right, so I have to autofill it down the column. Again, I have to hit cancel. And then that's what I want you to do for all of these other steps is just go in My IT Lab, look to see, because you have them constructed correctly, look to see what change it wants you to make and make that change to earn those points back. There is one exception. So do that for all of the steps. Oh, here, step 9. Step 9 will give you the points once you correct step 2. That's in reference to step 2. The one exception, so the one exception is there's, I guess, step 11 and I think step 13. It didn't give you any points. And the reason for this, it's the same idea where you did it one way, the system wanted it done another way. But it didn't give you any points because it wanted it constructed in a completely different way than you did it. So let's walk through this one. All right, in cell C2, the formula was not set to. Okay, so in the instructions, it asks us to do a count of the number of schools in Kansas that have a low cost of attendance. And we've determined that a low cost of attendance is anything that earns a 4 or a 5. Okay, you constructed it this way. Dun, dun, dun. Cost is more than 3, which is perfectly logical, right? What's more than 3? 4 or 5 is more than 3. However, the system wanted it this way. Count if state is Kansas if the cost is 4, plus count if the state is Kansas, the cost is 5. So erase what you have, even though it's right, put in what the system wants. Again, working with a bad boss here, and you'll earn all the points for that. So that's step 11. And then just stop for a minute and think about, well, why would it be better to do it the system's way? And in fact, it would be a little bit better because then it's specifically accurate. It tells us to have a low cost of attendance that's a 4 or a 5, right? It doesn't say greater than 3. So, all right, we'll live with it. The same, so look at that for step 13, correct it the way the system wants it. And then here, step M, again, it's that same thing where you did it, but now I want you to do it the way the system is expecting it. Wait, did I expand that? Here, step 15. Yep, you're going to do that same, it's the same idea. You're just using some ifs plus some ifs. Okay, and that's it. Make those corrections, resubmit. My IT Lab is ready for you to resubmit. And in the meantime, you can email me if you have any concerns or questions about it at all.